Grandpa Schwartz bought half-price tickets for the little boys. They were 11, 9, and 7. And when they got to London, they found out that Uncle Maurice Schwartz, could not go on half price because he was too tall. And my great-grandmother made a very unwise decision. She left him with a family in London, a Jewish family, thinking they would send more money. And she went to Liverpool and got on the boat with the other 2 boys and left him in London. And the story goes that he was basically in the streets for 2 years, trying to earn money, trying to survive. It's a very famous story about him. Grandpa Schwartz couldn't find him. They couldn't find him. They finally put an ad in a Yiddish newspaper, a London Yiddish newspaper, and several people sort of recognized that there was this 11-year-old kid wandering around. Well, by then he was 13, and they identified him, and Grandpa Schwartz got on a boat and went to London to get him and brought him back to New York. In his earlier life, he would have been doing Talmudic study with his father. That's what Uncle Jack and Uncle Martin, I mean, that's what they did. That's what my great-grandfather did with young boys. They did Talmudic study. So that's what he would have done. There was no theater, no connection to theater. The connection came when he got to London, and he got to be backstage. I guess he worked backstage. You know, just being a kid, I mean, he probably took any job he could get. So I think until he got to London, there really was no connection to theater.
And then what about this Uncle Mendel in the story?
So Uncle Mendel was a brother of my great-grandmother, Risa. And Mendel was involved with the Delancey Street Theater group. And when Uncle Maurice got to New York finally, he was 13 years old. He was not interested in doing bar mitzvah or any kind of Hebrew studies, and he would head out and go to the Delancey Street Theater and do anything that he could do to be on stage, backstage. He didn't care. He just wanted to do that. As I said, my grandmother described him, he was kind of a wild boy. And then what happened was he started getting parts there and in some other Yiddish theaters on the Lower East Side. And in fact, there were times they didn't even know where he was. And he would go out of town. He'd be in Philadelphia. He'd be out in the Midwest. If he could get a part in a Yiddish play, he would take the part. Her connection to him really started when he came back to New York and started acting in some of the plays on Second Avenue, and he was more connected to the family. And then certainly when he started the Yiddish Art Theater in 1918, the Yiddish Art Theater became a gathering ground for the entire family. Some parts of the family lived in the Bronx, some parts of the family lived in Brooklyn, so it was a way to congregate on Second Avenue, eating Ratners, and I would say that the start of the Cousins Club that we'll talk about really started then because the family was very much involved in the theater. Some people say it was because Uncle Maurice was cheap and he didn't want to spend money on hiring people. You just as easily to get your family to do things. And they did. I'm sure some of the sewing of costumes was done, and backstage kinds of things, staging kinds of activities were certainly done by family members. So I think that he was kind of wandering until he finally started this Yiddish Art Theater.